Every single day of your life, you are influencing people. Whether you're in a boardroom, standing in line for coffee, talking to a friend, or even walking into a room without saying a single word, you are influencing. Your energy, your posture, your expression, your tone, your presence, it all leaves a mark. People are constantly reading you, consciously and unconsciously deciding how to respond, how to feel about you, and how much weight your words should carry. The real question is not if you're influencing people, it's how. And here's the hard truth. Most people are influencing in ways they don't even realize and in ways they don't want. They give away their influence without knowing it. They speak without conviction, and their words vanish into the noise. They shrink their presence to avoid conflict, and in doing so, they teach others to overlook them. They seek approval instead of respect, and in chasing it, they lose both. Influence is not luck. Influence is not a gift some are born with. Influence is a skill, a power, a force. It can be learned, sharpened, and turned into an unstoppable advantage. But first, you must understand what it truly is. Influence is not manipulation. It's not tricking someone into doing what you want. That's short-lived, and it breeds distrust. Real influence is the ability to move people, to shape their thoughts, shift their emotions, and inspire action. It's about creating an undeniable force in your communication and presence that makes others feel they must pay attention. Not because you demanded it, but because they want to. Think about it. Every major change in your life was sparked by someone's influence. A teacher who believed in you when no one else did. A leader who challenged you to go further than you thought you could. A friend who spoke the truth you needed to hear. These moments didn't happen by accident. They happened because someone understood how to connect with you at a level that made you move. And yet, most people never even attempt to develop this skill. They live their lives hoping others will listen to them, hoping their ideas will be noticed, hoping they'll be given opportunities. But hope is not a strategy. The world doesn't reward quiet potential. It rewards those who can make themselves heard, felt, and remembered. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you cannot influence, you will be overlooked by someone less capable who knows how to command attention. You can have the most brilliant ideas, but if you cannot present them with power, they will die in silence. Influence is the bridge between your potential and your impact. Without it, you are an untapped resource, a voice that never fully reaches the world. Here's the part no one tells you. Influence isn't just about what you say. It's not even just about how you say it. It's about who you are when you say it. People respond to conviction. They respond to the energy behind your words. They respond to the unshakable belief that you carry in your own value. If you're unsure, they'll be unsure. If you're hesitant, they'll hesitate. If you doubt yourself, they will doubt you. The good news, influence can be built. It's not magic. It's not reserved for a chosen few. It's forged through self-awareness, clarity, and deliberate action. It starts with owning your presence, walking into every interaction knowing you have something worth saying, something worth hearing. It grows when you learn how to read people, how to understand what they value, what they fear, and what they need. And it becomes unstoppable when you can connect those insights to a vision that inspires action. Without influence, life happens to you. With influence, life happens through you. You stop waiting for permission. You stop hoping to be heard. You become the force that moves conversation, shapes decisions, and creates opportunities where none existed. The choice is simple. You can let the world shape you, or you can shape the world around you. You can sit quietly in the corner while others take the lead, or you can step forward and claim the space that was always yours. If you think influence is about being the loudest person in the room, you're wrong. It's about being the person whose words and presence cannot be ignored. It's about speaking in a way that resonates so deeply that people feel it, not just hear it. It's about carrying yourself with such purpose that even your silence speaks volumes. The truth is, if you're not influencing, you're being influenced. There is no neutral ground. Every moment you hesitate to claim your voice, you leave space for someone else to fill, someone whose vision may not align with yours. So ask yourself how many opportunities have passed you by because you weren't ready to speak up. How many times have you been overlooked because you didn't step forward? How many decisions have been made without you because you weren't in the room, or worse, you were in the room, but you weren't felt? Influence is the currency of leadership, the language of change, and the heartbeat of progress. Without it, even the strongest intentions fade into the background. With it, you can ignite movements, transform relationships, and create a ripple effect that reaches further than you ever imagined. This is not about becoming someone you're not. It's about becoming fully who you are and letting the world see it without apology. It's about stepping into the power you already have, but may have been hiding. Because the moment you claim it, everything changes. And here's the final truth. The world does not give power to those who wait. It gives power to those who take it. Influence is your way of taking it, not through force, but through presence, purpose, and unwavering belief. From this moment forward, every word you speak, every action you take, and every choice you make will either strengthen or weaken your influence. Choose strength. Choose presence. Choose to be the person who doesn't just live in the world, but shapes it. Influence doesn't start when you open your mouth. It starts in the silent moments before you say a single word. It begins in the way you carry yourself, the way you think about yourself, the way you decide, deep inside, who you are going to be in this moment. People don't follow words. They follow certainty. Certainty is magnetic. Certainty makes others want to lean in, to listen, to believe. When you stand in front of someone with complete conviction in who you are and what you're saying, you create an invisible pull, a gravity that draws people toward you without force. But here's the harsh reality: you cannot fake it for long. If you speak one thing but believe another, people will feel the fracture. If you're trying to project confidence while secretly doubting yourself, the doubt will leak through your tone, your body language, even your choice of words. Humans are wired to detect inconsistency. And the moment they sense it, your influence evaporates. The foundation of unshakable influence is self-mastery. You cannot expect others to believe in you if you haven't learned to believe in yourself. That means you must know exactly what you stand for. You must be crystal clear about your values, your vision, and your standards. People follow leaders, but they only trust those whose actions match their words. Think about it as when you meet someone who radiates certainty, you feel it immediately. You can't always explain why, but something about them tells you they are steady, focused, and unmoved by chaos. That is influence in its purest form. Not the noise they make, but the stability they embody in a world full of confusion. The one who is clear becomes the one others follow. Self-mastery doesn't mean perfection. It means alignment. It means doing the work to know yourself so well that nothing and no one can shake your center. It means refusing to bend your identity just to be accepted. Because here's the truth. People respect those who stay rooted in who they are, even when it's not popular. They may not always agree with you, but they will respect your conviction. Influence is built in the moments you think no one is watching. It's in the way you keep promises to yourself. It's in the way you show up when there's no applause. It's in the discipline you maintain when no one would know if you slipped. Why? Because these moments shape the core of your confidence. And confidence is not built in the spotlight. It's built in the shadows. When you have self-mastery, you walk into any interaction with an inner calm. You're not desperate for approval because your worth isn't up for negotiation. You're not afraid of disagreement because you're not anchored to being liked. You're anchored to being authentic. And authenticity is influence's greatest ally. If you want unshakable influence, you must also master clarity of purpose. People follow those who know where they're going. If your vision is vague, your impact will be weak. If your goals are undefined, your direction will be unstable. But when you speak with clarity, when you can describe your vision in a way that makes it feel real, alive, and urgent, people lean in. They feel the pull to be part of it. Clarity does something else. It eliminates hesitation. When you know exactly what you want and why, you stop second guessing yourself. That decisiveness makes others trust you more. In influence, hesitation is poison. It tells people you're unsure, and if you're unsure, why should they follow you? And then there's presence. Presence is the emotional weight you carry to every interaction. It's not about dominating a room. It's about owning your space within it. Presence says, I belong here. It's in the way you listen without rushing, the way you speak without scrambling, the way you hold your body as if every inch of you is in agreement with your words. People with presence make you feel like nothing else in the world exists for them in that moment but you. That depth of attention is rare, and rare things are powerful. When people feel truly seen and heard, they remember you. And when they remember you, your influence grows. So how do you build this foundation? You master yourself before you try to master others. You build confidence through action, not by waiting to feel ready. You decide what you stand for and refuse to betray it. You clarify your vision until it's so vivid that others can picture themselves inside it. You cultivate presence by showing up fully, not halfway. The reason this is called a foundation is because everything else you learn about influence will either stand strong on this base or crumble without it. Without self-mastery, clarity, and presence, your influence will always be fragile, easily broken by resistance, criticism, or doubt. But with it, you become untouchable. Remember this, people are not drawn to those who need them to believe. They're drawn to those who believe so deeply that others can't help but follow. When you embody that level of certainty, you... Every person you meet carries walls. Some are paper thin, easy to pass through. Others are built like fortresses, high, thick, and guarded by years of mistrust, disappointment, or fear. And if you're going to influence anyone in your life, you must understand this. Those walls aren't your enemy. They are your opportunity. When someone resists you, it's not always because they dislike you or disagree with you. Most of the time, it's because they are protecting something, a belief, a wound, a fear, or a need they don't think you'll understand. Their resistance is not about you. It's about the story they've been living in. And the first mistake most people make is to fight the wall instead of understanding why it's there. You cannot bulldoze resistance. You cannot overpower it by talking louder, arguing harder, or pushing faster. All that does is strengthen the very wall you're trying to break down. Influence requires a different approach. Influence requires connection before persuasion. Here's the truth. People don't open up because you've proven your point. They open up because you've proven you see them. Not just their surface, not just their words, but the emotions, needs, and fears behind them.
That's the lever that moves even the most stubborn heart. When you're faced with resistance, listen more deeply than you speak. Not the kind of listening where you're waiting for your turn to respond. The kind where you're fully present, where every ounce of your attention is locked on them, not on your counterargument. When you listen this way, something powerful happens. The person feels understood. And when people feel understood, their defenses start to lower. Think about it. When was the last time someone made you feel truly heard? Not half listened to, not nodded at politely, but actually seen in your entirety. How did it make you feel? There's a reason it's so rare. Most people listen to reply, not to understand. But the ones who listen understand. They create influence without even asking for it. The second step to breaking resistance is acknowledgement. Acknowledgement is not agreement. It's recognition. It's saying, I understand why you feel this way without necessarily saying, I think you're right. When you acknowledge someone's perspective, you validate their reality. And here's the magic. When people feel validated, they no longer have to defend themselves as fiercely. They loosen their grip.
What's it say?
They start to open space for your perspective to enter. The third step is alignment. Once you've listened and acknowledged, you must find a point of connection between their reality and your vision. This doesn't mean compromising your message. It means finding common ground where trust can be built. That trust is the bridge that allows influence to cross from your world into theirs. And let's be clear, breaking resistance doesn't mean you will win everyone over. Some walls are decades old, reinforced by layers of pain you cannot remove in one conversation. But here's what matters. Influence is not about controlling the outcome. It's about creating the possibility of change. And that possibility begins the moment someone feels safe enough to lower their guard. There's a reason this works even on the most difficult people. Resistance thrives in disconnection. It weakens in connection. When you make someone feel respected, understood, and valued, they stop seeing you as a threat. And when you're no longer a threat, you can become a partner in finding a way forward. This is not about playing games. This is not about pretending to care so you can get your way. People can feel that kind of fakery instantly, and it destroys influence. This is about genuinely understanding that the person in front of you is not your obstacle. They are your access point to change. Even if they seem cold, even if they're aggressive, even if they're dismissive. Behind that is a human being who wants the same core things you do, to be understood, to be respected, and to matter. When you approach resistance with this mindset, you stop trying to win and start trying to connect. And ironically, that's when you start to win, not in a battle against them, but in a partnership towards something better. Here's the truth most people never grasp. Influence is not about overpowering resistance. It's about dissolving it. And you dissolve it not by force, but by presence, by listening until they feel safe, by acknowledging until they feel seen, by aligning until they feel you're on their side. So, the next time you face someone who pushes back, who shuts you down, who crosses their arms and refuses to hear you, don't push harder. Step back. See the wall for what it is, not a rejection of you, but a shield they've built for themselves. And if you can approach that shield with patience, empathy, and unwavering certainty in your own presence, you'll find that even the highest walls can fall. Because in the end, the most powerful way to break resistance is not to break the person. It's to make them feel safe enough to walk out from behind the wall on their own, are not just sounds in the air. They are weapons. They are bridges, and they are seeds. They can cut through someone's armor or plant ideas that grow long after you've left the room. They can spark a fire or extinguish it. They can lift someone to their highest self or crush them to their lowest. That's why if you want to influence anyone, you must treat language like the powerful tool it is. Not something you use carelessly, but something you wield with precision. Most people speak to fill space. They throw words into the air without thinking about their weight or direction, and then they wonder why they're ignored. But people who command attention, they speak differently. They speak with intention. Every word serves a purpose. Every sentence moves the listener forward. Every pause has meaning. Language that influences is deliberate. It's clear. It's stripped of clutter. It doesn't wander aimlessly, hoping to find its point somewhere along the way. It hits. It lands. It leaves a mark. Here's the truth. The most powerful language is not about complexity. It's about connection. The right words are the ones that reach people, not the ones that make you sound smart. Influence is not about impressing. It's about impacting. If your audience walks away thinking about how clever your words were, but feels nothing, you failed. If you want to command attention, you must understand the emotional weight of your language. Words carry energy. A single phrase can shift someone's mood, change their decision, even rewrite the way they see themselves. That's why you must choose them as if they matter, because they do. Think about urgency. When you speak with urgency, you trigger action. Your tone, your pacing, your choice of words, all of it signals this matters now. And people respond. Now think about certainty. When you speak with certainty, you trigger trust. Your voice says, I know where we're going, and people want to follow. And then there's vision. When you speak with vision, you make people see something bigger than themselves. You make the future feel so real that they can almost touch it. The rhythm of your speech matters too. Influence lives in the music of your words. The rise and fall, the speed and stillness, the sharp punch of a short sentence after a slow build. Pauses are not empty, they are impact. They are the moments that make your words echo inside someone's mind. Silence used well is louder than shouting. But the secret is this. Your language must match your energy. If your words are bold but your presence is hesitant, you create a fracture. People feel the mismatch and they trust you less. If your tone is flat but your message is urgent, you lose the spark that moves people. Language is not just about the words you choose, it's about the way you breathe life into them. Another key, speak in images, not just information. Facts make the mind think, images make the mind see. And when people can see what you're talking about, they can feel it. Describe the destination, not just the map. Show them the mountain, not just the trail. When you create a picture they can step into, you pull them closer to your vision. And yet, the most influential language is not the language that demands attention. It's the language that earns it. You earn it by speaking directly to someone's values, fears, and desires. You earn it by making your words about them, not just about you. Because here's the truth. People don't care about your message until they see how it connects to their own lives. So choose your words like a surgeon chooses their tools, with accuracy, with purpose, with care. Remove what's unnecessary. Strengthen what's weak. Sharpen what's dull. If a sentence doesn't move your audience closer to the emotion or action you want, cut it. Influence is not about saying more. It's about saying what matters most in the way that lands deepest. Remember this, the most commanding voice in any room is not always the loudest. It's the one that feels like it carries weight. The one that makes people lean in instead of tune out. The one that seems to speak directly to the listener's core. And that comes from intentional language backed by absolute conviction. From now on, don't just talk. Speak to move. Speak to connect. Speak so that your words do more than pass through someone's ears. They live in their mind long after you're gone. Speak in a way that makes silence feel incomplete without your voice. Because influence through language isn't about getting people to hear you. It's about making them unable to forget you. Influence without action is like lighting a fire and then walking away before it spreads. You can have all the presence, certainty, and powerful language in the world, but if nothing changes as a result, you've only created a spark that fades into the dark. True influence is measured not in applause, not in nods of agreement, but in movement, in results, in the visible shift that happens because you showed up and spoke with purpose. Here's what most people miss. Inspiring someone is not enough. Inspiration without direction leads nowhere. People can leave a conversation with you feeling energized, motivated, ready to take on the world. But if they don't know exactly what to do next, that energy will dissolve by the time they wake up tomorrow. Influence is not just about creating belief, it's about channeling that belief into a clear, immediate step forward. That's where clarity comes in. Confusion kills momentum. If someone is unsure about what to do next, they will default to doing nothing. Your job, if you want to turn influence into action, is to eliminate uncertainty. Lay out the path. Make it simple, specific, and possible. Remove the guesswork. When people know exactly what to do and why it matters, resistance shrinks and momentum grows. But clarity alone is not enough. You need urgency. Without urgency, action gets postponed. And postponed action often becomes abandoned action. You must create a sense of now. This doesn't mean pushing with fear or pressure, but showing the cost of waiting. Show them what's at stake. Show them what's at stake. Show them the opportunities they will miss if they delay. Influence turns into action when the listener feels that doing nothing is no longer an option. Then comes belief. People act when they believe two things. The action will get them closer to what they want. They are capable of doing it. If either of those beliefs is missing, action dies. Your influence must address both. Show them the destination so vividly they can almost taste it. Then show them, step by step, that they can get there. Break the action into achievable moves. Remove the fear of failure by making the path feel doable. People will take massive action if they believe the first step is within their reach. Another key to turning influence into action is alignment. Action sticks when it aligns with someone's values and identity. If you can connect what you're asking them to do with the kind of person they already believe themselves to be, or the kind of person they want to become, the action will feel natural. It will feel like an expression of who they are, not a task they're being told to do. And here's something most overlook. Action is contagious. When you want others to move, you must move first. Influence flows from example. If you're asking for commitment, show commitment. If you're asking for urgency, act urgently yourself. If you're asking for courage, display it openly. People are far more likely to take action when they see it modeled right in front of them. Turning influence into action also means removing friction. What stops people from acting is rarely the desire to do so. It's the obstacles in the way.